Okay, so obviously I've done lots of flips on accounts before. So today I'm basically going to show you exactly the strategy that I use on gold to flip small accounts. Now, I don't start this with a small amount like 10, 20 pounds. This is something you want to do when you have maybe 50 to 100, just because you need some liquidity to, make it so that your account doesn't blow. If you do a 0.01 on a £10 account, it could literally move a tiny amount and lose the whole account. So make sure you do this on a relatively small flip account if you want to flip. I don't advise it, but I just wanted to show you how I do it on a small account to flip it in something to then trade properly. So we're going to go over to the charts now and I'm going to show you exactly what I do. Okay, so as you can see, we are on gold here. Now, how this strategy works is you want to basically stay on one time frame. So if you want a quick trade, then drop to the 5 minute. And if you want, like a normal intraday level trade, I just use the 15, but it's kind of up to you what, time frame you want to use. Just make sure you stay on one time frame. Now, the first thing you want to look for is gold or, on any pair, price to be at a very high area or a very low area. Because the way that I like to flip accounts with gold is I want to basically have a big move and hold that move for a long period of time, so that you can just move to break even your SL, not risk any money on the account, and then just let it run basically with the TP. So that's the first thing you want to do, is you want to find gold, be it a very low discounted price or a very high premium price. And what you want to do is, it doesn't really matter with the session. You can kind of trade London or New York. I probably prefer London because there's still decent enough volume, and if you get the direction right, which is the key to this strategy, then New York will just normally push it in the same same direction with better momentum. So we're going to take this example right here. Now I've traded lots of gold on my flip accounts. I've done series on it, so if you want to see it in action, check it out. But what I would do, say I came to the charts in London session around here, is what do I see? Well, if I look backwards, you can see that gold had a big push to the upside, leaving a lot of inefficiency in this area that it needs to fill, right? So that's kind of option or checklist item number one ticked off, that price needs to be in a big premium area or a big discount area. And as I said, normally you'll see a big premium area look like this, with a big push up with lots of inefficiency, and then it kind of hovering here. And the same way for a downside one, you'll see a big push to downside, lots of inefficiency, and it's sort of being in this area like this. And you see that happen a lot on gold. And as I said, if you want a lower time frame, you can drop down to the 5 minute. It still does the same thing. But going back to this, that's what we're looking for. So is there inefficiency? Yes, there is. We've got the consolidation, and what do we have? Well, then we need to mark out our highs and lows, right? Because as you know with me, it's all about structure. That's all that matters. So I'm going to start marking out my highs and my lows, and I'm basically going to be looking for breaks of these areas. Now that I've marked them up, what I'm waiting to see is the highs and lows get broken. Now, the way this strategy works, one break is a decent break, two breaks is a strong break. Now, it doesn't have to be, perfectly massive momentum breaks, but if you can break two highs or two lows, that's kind of a strong confirmation that it is now ready to, move to the downside. So what you want to do is wait for price to do that. So as you can see, we come into London. If I zoom in a little bit more, we come into London around the 8 o'clock candle, which is here. And what do we have? Pretty much, straight away, an hour later, a big push to the downside. Now, what do I see? I see it break this low strong, and it just about breaks and closes below the stronger low, which is kind of the swing low in this little range here. So we've had a big push to the downside, breaking 2 lows. That's a very good sign to me that we're now ready to sell. And then there's, you know, a multitude of entries you can use. You can use a breaker block. You could use sort of a 50%. You just sort of draw it in like this, and then go to where is it? Template, premium discount, and you can see the let me just change the color of that. There we go. You can see that it comes into the premium zone to get your sell up here. It doesn't really matter. It kind of just depends what you trade. Now, you kind of want to keep it the same as your strategy. So whatever you use as your actual strategy, just use the same. So I like to use like the retest of previous lows. And as you can see, it comes in perfectly, tests into this previous low. And then all you need to do is just enter when you get the test, put your stop like you normally would. You know, you can normally do around 200 pips or so for gold at the moment. And then the best thing about this strategy is, if you mention, or if you remember earlier, I mentioned how big of an inefficiency you kind of have, where you've got this gap that needs filling, and you've got this gap that needs filling. You could really target anywhere. You've even got an order block down here, which, if you don't know about order blocks, I've done loads of videos on, so check that out as well. But you can kind of target anywhere. Now, it doesn't look like a lot, a 1 to 4, but when you're on like a flip account, obviously you're risking more than that, significantly more than that. So you only need one of these trades to turn around your account and essentially be able to then trade it normally. Because in my head, the goal with flipping is you just want to flip that first part and then trade your account properly like you would. Now, I'm going to show you another example just so you can kind of see what I mean. And again, you can use multiple time frames. You don't have to use, you know, like the 15-minute like this. But as you can see, gold does this a lot, where it has big drops, big momentum moves, big momentum moves, big momentum moves. You know, a lot of the times it will do that. And you can even see it, you know, here as well. And so if we want to, you know, use this example as another sell one, same again, what you're going to do, you just want to mark out your kind of recent highs and lows, just so you can kind of see, you know, where it lines up to, and just mark that all out. And you then have kind of your 2 ranges. You've got your sort of more minor range, and then you've got your wider consolidation here. Are we at the top of a premium? Yes. Do we have inefficiency? Yes, we do. Ooh, where's that gone? Here. Yeah, do we have efficiency? Yes, we do. We've got more down here as well. So that's good to see. So again, all we need to do is wait for a break of the low, the main low. As I said, if you can break 2 lows, even better, which, what do? We get the break of 2 lows. And then you just enter off the back of it like this. Same again. You can, you know, enter off either one. It's up to you. Put your SL wherever. Normally, as I said, like 200 is normally good. And guess what? It's then up to you. You can ride it all the way down to, you know, this inefficiency down here. It doesn't matter. It will just sell off to kind of, you know, fill that inequality, I guess. What I'll do, obviously it's quite hard because gold has literally only been selling in recent times, but I'll try and show you a buy one. In fact, if I drop to the 5 minutes so that you can see that it does it on, you know, multiple time frames, that way you can kind of get an idea of how this works. So for example, you've got this one. The same again would be here, where obviously you've got a lot of you know, inefficiencies left here, even more left here that you then, you know, come and fill, and lots of just liquidity points with highs and a harsh sell-off. So again, you're in this sort of severe discount area, and all you need to do is, as I said, just mark up your lows and your highs like so. Now we use this high here. Again, it doesn't really matter on the time, but just mark them out. And again, what happens is price, you know, sells off, comes up, creates a low. Now you want to obviously wait for structure to go your way, and then break structure. Guess what? That's a sign to go long. And then again, you just want to enter on any way you want. You do a retest of the high, just make sure you put your stop somewhere, and then, you know, target whatever inefficiency you want. Same sort of style as last time, but that's kind of what I do for gold, and how I trade it at the moment. When I want to flip an account, you just simply wait for it to sell off hard, wait for it to go to the upside, break structure, then sell off, and vice versa for a buy. It works quite well. As I said, lower time frames you can do it on. Obviously it's just a bit more risky, but the same thing kind of applies. Again, you know, you could just buy down here after you sell off strongly. You break out this high, like this, break out the high, wait for price to retest into it like this, and then again, it's up to you where you want to target. And that's kind of how you do it. The whole key of it is using momentum to go in your favor, and just kind of trading what you see, trading structure. But let me know if you try us out. Let me know if you trade something like this similar on your flip account. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.